Yeah, so hi guys, this is Shadow Girl Sherry, and guys, this is like totally a last minute idea. I just decided to go live just at this. It was just a last second thought, and yeah, I just decided that I just wanted to go live for a little bit tonight. And guys, today is Saturday, July the 4th, obviously of 2026. I'll just say that because later on when I post this video up on a little bit here on TikTok, and here on TikTok, if you go over an hour, then once you go over an hour, then you can't post the whole video in its entirety. So you would have to go ahead and, if you wanted to watch the whole video, you would have to go ahead and find this video over on YouTube. And of course, on YouTube, altogether, my channel is called Sunset Songs. And, I'll explain again, you know, uh, sunset songs and all that different stuff, what it means and all that here in just a second. And, I'm not going to go too much into it. Because again, this was like a last minute video idea. I just decided to just jump on for a little bit and spend a little bit of the this Independence Day, 4th of July with you guys. And, guys, the thing about it was, I thought about it. I'm like, okay, what am I going to say here? Am I going to say, happy 4th of July, or am I going to say happy Independence Day? So I decided I would look it up, and it said, if you want to go more for a formal kind of idea, then I should go ahead and say happy Independence Day. But if I just wanted to look at it as just kind of like a little bit more fun and kind of, I don't know, relax the whole idea or whatever, just kind of think about chilling out and like having a cold drink and hot dogs, hamburgers. I'm thinking about like a Coke or something like that. Then I would just, I could just go ahead and just say happy 4th of July instead of happy Independence Day. So, I decided for, here in the title that I would go for the formal idea and say happy Independence Day. And then here for the, the picture, that I would put up, I would put happy 4th of July. So, anyhow, guys, I hope you get what I'm saying. I hope you like the idea. I hope you feel relaxed and everything. And I just wanted to see how many people would come and just join me for this last minute idea that I had. And I see already that I have a Barbara Pacheco, and I do want to apologize if I pronounce anyone's name wrong or anything like that. But guys, just thank you guys. Whoever wants to come and hang out with me tonight, I want to thank you so much. I got to stop moving around. I have a tendency to kind of move my hands around when I'm talking, and I saw that it just flashed across the screen that things got a little bit unstable. So anyhow, I do apologize. But guys, I just wanted to come and hang out with you guys for a little bit for the 4th of July. I had some plans. I was invited to a 4th of July, like family get together, and it just so happened that I didn't get to go. It was really hot and in my area, it's the 4th of July, and calling for like thunderstorms and things like that. So I didn't go. But I decided for just a little bit that at least I could celebrate. And, I hung out with the people, my household or whatever, not, the big family get together, but just with my household, the people that I live with. And then I decided, okay, I want to hang out with my viewers for a little bit and, celebrate a little bit. So, basically, what did I want to talk about? I want to talk about the 4th of July, but my channel is called Sunset Songs. So with that being said, what is a sunset song? Basically, my channel, if you've watched any of my other videos, you already know that my channel is called Sunset Songs, but it's all about my personal journey with the law of attraction. If you're watching this video, tuning into this live, most likely you already know what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction is the idea that like attracts like, through your thoughts, your habits, the people you're hanging out with. If you're thinking positive thoughts, you're hanging out with positive people, you are, taking positive steps towards your goals, then through the law of attraction, you would be attracting that back in the positive back into your life. On the other hand, if you were doing negative things, hanging out with negative people, I don't know, not, taking those, positive steps, and, with the negative, you would be attracting the negative. Okay. So, but my channel again is called Sunset Songs. So with that being said, what is a sunset song? A sunset song, I decided that, I wanted to call my channel Sunset Songs. What is a sunset song? A sunset song is a song that before I go live, before I go live or I make a video, I try to think of a song that I'm going to tailor around the subject matter that I'm going to be talking about within, in that particular, what I'll call episode to my channel, Sunset Songs. Now, guys, today is again, July the 4th of 2026. Now, I do believe, and I should have looked it up real quick. I think it was on July the 4th of maybe 2003. Now, just keep the idea of July the 4th. Okay. And I think that the year may have been 2003. Okay. Does anybody here or anybody listening, if you haven't joined the live or whatever, he's been gone for a while. I do believe it was in 2003 when he passed away. But there was a very, very popular, I'll say, he was very popular when it comes to grown folks music. I'll call it grown folks music. Okay. There was a singer, Barry White. Okay. If you can hear the sound of my voice right now, I just want to ask you, do you know who Barry White is? Or, he passed away. And I do believe it was in the year, I do believe that he passed away in 2003, I believe. But it was definitely on July the 4th. Okay. And I thought that being that he passed away on July the 4th, it came to my thought. I was, just, chilling, whatever. And then I remembered, I'm like, okay. It came to my thought that last year, I remembered what I was doing last year for July the 4th. And I made a little bit of a real short video. And it was about Barry White. Now, normally, guys, I look up a lot. I get more information and all that kind of thing. And I found out that my idea is to come up with the sunset song. Obviously, before I have the sunset song, I have a subject that I've thought of that I want to talk about. Then I go ahead and I think of a song that I tailor, that I tie and weave into the subject matter, weave the song and the subject matter together. Okay. And with that being said, I look up information about the song, the artist, different things, and, weave it all together. Okay. And I thought about it. I was just, chilling, whatever. And I thought about it. I'm like, okay, last year on this day, I made a real short video about Barry White. Okay. And guys, does anybody know who Barry White is? Again, very popular when it comes to grown folks music. Okay. I thought about it last year. I had made a real short video because I wasn't, doing this big live thing yet. I started going live on during the height of the Lionsgates portal. Okay, if you're watching this, you may know what the Lionsgates portal is. It's said to be a time where there's the energy's heightened towards manifestation. You might think about money, that kind of thing, because it's on the 8th month, 8th day. Okay, and it's just called the Lionsgates portal. And if you want to look up what that's all about, you have time right now to start getting in that energy. I don't want to talk about it too much right now, but it's the 8th month, 8th day, and it's just a day of said to be a heightened energy, a portal that it's just called the Lionsgates portal if you want to look it up. But it was on that day was the first time that I ever went live, because I was so nervous to do it or whatever, and I did it, and now obviously I like it and I'm not nervous to go live or whatever. So guys, if you have a channel or you're into content creation, and I just want to go ahead and make the suggestion that it's really fun to go live. So anyhow, but I was just kind of chilling, and I thought about the fact that last year at this time I had made a short video about Barry White. Now, again, Barry White passed away on this day, on July the 4th, and I do believe it was 2003 when he passed away, the year 2003 when he passed away, but don't quote me on that. I think it was 2003, but it was definitely on July the 4th. Okay, and this Barry White was very popular when it comes to grown folks music. I didn't necessarily pick a song by him. He had lots of different songs that I liked. Let's see. If you know the game Grand Theft Auto, okay, he has some songs that's featured in the game Grand Theft Auto. Let me think of some of the songs that was popular by Barry White. Okay, it's Ecstasy When You Lay Down Next to Me was a popular one by him. I think that was the one that was one of the songs that was featured on Grand Theft Auto. He had another song. Let's see, he had a lot of songs. Practice What You Preach. Okay. One that he had that I really liked, Put Me in Your Mix. I think the song was called Put Me in Your Mix. I love that one. But I'm wondering if that's the correct title. He had another song that I'm thinking of right now, because this song, there was a group Simply Red, and today's Independence Day. So when you think about Independence Day, one of the colors that goes along with Independence Day is red. So there was a song that he did, It's Only Love. The song was called It's Only Love. And another group that did a cover of that song as well, It's Only Love, is Simply Red. And Simply Red, they had a version of the song It's Only Love. And I had said in the video that I made last year about Barry White that, okay, Barry White is an African-American man. He was an African-American man, and his last name was White. And then there's Simply Red, who did a version of a song, a version of the song, It's Only Love. And again, the group was called Simply Red, and the lead singer of Simply Red is a Caucasian, it's a white guy, and he has red hair. But the thing about him, I always thought when I heard different songs by Simply Red, there was a song, what was the song called? Holding Back the Years. I always thought that it was an African-American man singing that song. I thought it was like an African-American group, but then when I see the video to the song, it's Simply Red did the song Holding Back the Years. And this is a Caucasian, like a white man, and he has red hair, but he has this soulful voice that, and the song would play on radio stations that, were, more tailored towards African Americans. But here, this is a white man with red hair. And that's why they went by the name Simply Red. So anyhow, guys, I just wanted to, make all this clear to you guys. And with that being said, I also want to say that I, Shadow Girl Sherry, am African American. And, but when you come and you join my lives or you watch any of my videos, I did say that my channel is called Sunset Songs. I don't discriminate. Like if I like a song, I like a song. And I know that the first time that I went live, I picked a song by Madonna. Now, the reason why I picked a song by Madonna is because the first time I went live, it was during the Lionsgate's portal. And the Lionsgate's portal has the energy of Leo. There's a strong energy of Leo that goes along with the Lionsgate's portal, because you think about a lion and, you think about Leo the lion. And it's said that, when it comes to the zodiac, when you think about Leo energy, it's a bold energy. These, Leos are the type where they are the ones that are the performers. They like to get out on stage and all that kind of thing. And, Madonna is definitely, obviously, the type of person, she is a Leo, and, she loves to control and, take over a stage. Back in the 80s, she had Like a Virgin and all that different stuff. So that was one of the reasons why I picked her for a song by her. I think it may have been Express Yourself was the very first song that I picked when I went live. And again, it was because Madonna is a Leo, and it was for the Lionsgate's Portal. And even in her video to Like a Virgin, she has a masked man, and the mask that he is wearing is of a lion. Okay, so there's that Leo energy there. And I just remember that, anytime you hear about like Leo energy and you have full moon in Leo or a new moon in Leo, anything like that, you're going to hear things about stages. And when I went, for whatever reason, during that time, I kept thinking a stage, like get out of a cage, because I feel like being Shadow Girl Sherry, a part of my personality, being that I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry, is it's kind of like being in a cage, like being caged up and not letting like my wild side or whatever come out. And I come to find out that if you know anything about birth charts and things like that, I found out that I am actually, when I was born, the moon was in Leo. So it's about, the Leo energy is about coming out. And for whatever reason, at that point, I just kept feeling this energy of get out of a cage and step onto a stage. And that was the first time I went live. And that was my idea, was letting myself basically come out of the cage of being like a shadow girl and coming out onto a stage. And you don't know what I look like necessarily, but this was the first time I went live. And I'm like, I'm nervous and everything like that, but I feel like in my heart, I've got to do it. And at that point, I don't even know if I knew anything about like the fact that when I was born, the moon was in Leo. So, I don't want to get too far off the subject, but basically what I'm trying to say is, I have a feeling that, the first time I went live and things like that, I have been around people where I kind of feel like, I know it. Like there were people that, they know that I have a channel. And if you think about Madonna, obviously she's an older woman now. And I kind of feel like there are people that have probably thought, okay, she's African American or whatever, or, I think that some people think that you have to be a certain way if you are this or you're that. And my idea is I don't feel that way. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I have always felt like I haven't fit in everywhere I go. It's because I don't feel like just being just the cookie cutter, like just being like everybody else. Like if I like something, I just like it. And I'm African American. Hey, I like Madonna's music. And with that being said, I want everyone, I want you to feel comfortable when you join my lives or whatever. It could be any song. It could be a song that might be considered, I don't know. One day I could pick a R&B song. Another day I could pick like I don't know, like a show tune or, to a movie or a play, or again, I picked Madonna. Another time I could pick Whitney Houston. Today I'm picking Barry White. It could be anybody. It's not like, I discriminate, or because I'm African American, I have to pick all the artists and people that I talk about, groups that I talk about, whatever. They have to be African American. I like all different types of music. So I hope that everybody, you'll feel comfortable. And if there is a song that you would like me to look up information about the artist, or, kind of discuss here on my channel or whatever, just feel free to leave it in any of my videos, leave it in the comments, whatever. And, I'm always trying to add to my playlist. So just feel free to leave whatever songs you like and we can take it from there. So I hope that I've explained that well. But guys, so that's what I was trying to say when I was discussing the group Simply Red and the lead singer and all that. But so just any kind of music, it doesn't matter. Like I don't discriminate. So I'll leave it there. But on from that, being that Barry White passed away on July the 4th, and again, I'll say it, I do believe it may have been 2003. I don't I won't quote it or whatever. But, I was chilling, whatever. And I'm thinking, you know what? I talked about him last year, obviously because he passed away. I want to talk a little bit about Barry White again tonight, on the anniversary again of his death or whatever, and just see who's going to come out and hang out with me or whatever. And I'm going to explain to you right now what you're looking at, why I picked this particular scene, and basically what you're looking at. So I've already told you guys that I looked up the idea. Should I put Happy Independence Day? Should I put, Happy 4th of July? I found a way to do both, because, I did both. In the title, basically, I said Happy Independence Day. That's the more formal way in doing it. And then for here on the picture, the scene that I've set up, I decided to go with Happy 4th of July, and that's more casual, and hot dogs, hamburgers, come have a Coke, have a cold drink, whatever, and hang out with me. So I hope you get what I'm saying. But basically what you're looking at is, I was invited to a family get together or cookout. It didn't work out that way. I have someone that's not in my household that's feeling good, but I didn't want to take them out in the heat and everything, and the heat. And then obviously, well, I'll just say in my area, there was, in the forecast, it was calling for like thunderstorms and things like that. So I'm like, I'll just stay in today. And yeah, I didn't want to, but that's just the way it worked out. So, but basically what you're looking at is, I found some time to come outside and walk around and ground myself, put my feet on the ground. And, that's called grounding. And to me, it feels so good to put your feet on the cool grass, especially if you've been inside for a long time, just to come out and, breathe in fresh air and put your feet on the nice, the cool grass and everything. It just feels so good. And it's called grounding. So I just want to make that suggestion, to do that, during these summer days or whatever. And so when I come outside, I breathe that fresh air in, put my feet in the grass, did the grounding thing. And, in my area and, all around, there's fireworks that are being let off. So I wanted to take a couple of, I made a little bit of a video of some of the fireworks or whatever. And I have another thing. I may not be able to upload that tonight. I'm not sure. But I had a different kind of a way that I, Shadow Girl Sherry, made like a little bit of a video to upload later for you guys. But basically what you're looking at in this particular scene or picture, whatever, is when I came outside and I breathed in the fresh air and I did the grounding, put my feet on the ground, the grass, and I felt that, the cool, I don't know, earthy vibration and everything. And it just felt so good to do it, after being inside and, looking after, my loved one or whatever. And they're doing okay right now, but anyhow, I just didn't want to take this family member out in the heat and everything because it was so hot today in my area. But basically what you're looking at is just a picture. I did a couple of videos and quick videos of, the fireworks. And this was just, I took a picture by accident. And one of the pictures, that's what you're looking at right now. This is, and I won't say accident, it was a picture that I took. I meant to be taking a video, but I hit the photo thing on my phone or whatever. And what it was, you look at this and you would think that this was like earlier in the night, like maybe dusk, but it wasn't dusk when I took this picture. It was completely dark outside, but because of the fireworks, this is how the picture came out. Like right when I snapped the picture, the fireworks made it look like it was dusk. So that's what you're looking at right now. Like it was completely dark outside, but because of the light of the fireworks, this is how the picture came out. So I just thought that I would go ahead and upload that and just kind of have you look at that and think about, the duality of life, that there is darkness and there's light, but it's a balance. So I thought that I would go ahead and put that there because, again, I do go by the name Shadow Girl Sherry, and I just thought that was perfect. So I said I would just go ahead and go with that instead of, coming up with anything different. And, maybe when I upload this whole live in its entirety or whatever, on my channel, maybe I'll put, like, I don't know, some, they have this effect where you can have like, lights or, sparkles or stars or fireworks or whatever. And I'll just do it like that. But guys, so that's what you're looking at right now. I thought that would be perfect to to explain Shadow Girl Sherry and just the duality that, is life. Okay. Light and dark, and that you put the two together and you make it work. So, with that being said, guys, I want to say what's up to everybody. I see a KK, has joined me. I see a Robert Kennard has joined me. I saw other names, but obviously I'm Shadow Girl Sherry and I run off of the mouth a lot. So I didn't get to mention everybody, but I see a Michael has joined me. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me this last minute here on this July the 4th. Again, happy July the 4th. Happy Independence Day. So I've said it in the formal way and then just the more calm, cool, and kind of way there. So, but again, thank you guys for coming to hang out with me, and happy 4th of July. How's everybody feeling tonight? I'm going to go ahead and I want to talk about, the person that I wanted to talk about is Barry White, because Barry White, passed away on July the 4th. And again, I've said it already. I don't know if it was in 2003 or exactly what year it was, but I do believe it was the year 2003 when Barry White passed away. Now, Barry White had lots of different songs. If you have any songs that you like by Barry White, if you could leave it here in the comments, I would really appreciate it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Barry, obviously because he passed away, but there was one thing, I didn't get a lot of information about him, but there are some things that I can think of off the top of my head, like the idea that some of his music was featured on, the game Grand Theft Auto. Again, I think the songs were It's Ecstasy When You Lay Down Next to Me. Okay, that was one of his more popular songs, and I do believe that's one of the songs that was featured on Grand Theft Auto. You hear people outside right now. That's what you might hear them people outside right now. Obviously it's the 4th of July, so that's just what you hear. But on from there, another song by Barry White, I think it was featured on Grand Theft Auto, was It's Only Love It's Only Love was by Barry White, but another group, Simply Red, also covered the song as well. So I wanted to go ahead and say that. And guys, I'm also looking around as well because I got to make sure that I'm outside right now, and I got to make sure that everything's safe and cool and everything like that. Obviously because I'm outside or whatever. But, and most likely, yeah, it is. It's 4th of July. People are just out having a good time. But, you always have to be safe. You know what I mean? You always have to make sure you're safe no matter what day it is. But anyhow, guys, so, I just wanted to say a couple of things that I know about, that I have, information that I've, seen online about Barry White. And, I've told you about the songs. There were different songs by Barry White that was featured on, again, the game Grand Theft Auto. And another thing that I wanted to say about Barry White, and this was something that, I looked up about him that I wanted to share with you guys. I don't have a whole lot of information, but Barry White had a really deep voice, right? Barry White had a very, very deep voice. And, I saw online where he had said, that one of the things about, when he was growing up, when he was a young boy, he just remembered being like a young boy, a kid or whatever. And then all of a sudden, when he starts to go through puberty, his voice got real deep. And if I'm not mistaken, I think, and, don't quote me, you could look it up if you want. And again, this is a last minute video. I think Barry White felt uncomfortable about the way his voice sounded at first when he first started to go through puberty. Like he's this little boy, and then all of a sudden, you know how puberty is. You wake up, and then all of a sudden, things start to change. And the thing about him was, he's a little boy, and then when he goes through, this change, puberty, his voice gets deep. His voice was very, very deep. And if I'm not mistaken, you can look it up yourself, but again, this is last minute. I think Barry White said that this was something that made him feel uncomfortable, like maybe he was made fun of about, because of the fact that here he's a young man, a young boy, like, teenager, whatever. And you think about puberty or whatever, usually when's puberty start? Maybe about 11, 12. Yeah, you think about that 11, 12, 13, that kind of idea. And here all of a sudden he's got this deep voice. So you know how kids are. You know how when you're young, how things can be when you're that young. People can be very, very immature, and everybody's going through different things and whatever. And here he's coming about, and he has this deep voice, and he's got to grow into it. And if I can remember exactly, what it said in the interview, is that his voice was squeaky, and then it was just very deep. So this was something that he felt uncomfortable about. People made fun of him. Other kids made fun of him. It makes, and I don't know why, I just thought about it, guys, right now. I think about Christmas in July. If you think about Christmas in July, this just came to the thought of my mind, the idea of Christmas in July. If you've ever heard that saying, it makes me think of what was it? Thinking about Christmas, and then I'm teaming it up with July and all this. I'm thinking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and the fact that, what was the song? They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. They laughed at him and all that. And this just makes me think about Barry White, and I just thought about Christmas in July for whatever reason. So it just made me think about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and how he was made fun of, and they used to laugh and call him names. But then in time, Rudolph came to be, he's the man, if you know what I'm saying. So in time, that's what happened for Barry White. He became the man. I think he was known as the maestro. Okay. But at one time he felt uncomfortable about it. And, other, people his age, young people, were making fun of him. So that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight when it comes to the law of attraction, or if you feel like maybe you have felt like in your life, because I go by the name Shadow Girl Sherry, and I will say that a lot of times in my life, I've kind of felt like I was like a misfit. Okay. But with that being said, I kind of feel like I've been like a misfit, and I've said different reasons as to why I felt like a misfit. Like, number one, me being African American, when I was in school, the idea was, you're an African American girl. There's supposed to be certain types of things that you're supposed to be into. There's supposed to be certain types of music that you're supposed to be into. And then if you listen to this music, then you're being, you're not being, what a black girl should be. Okay. So that's just not the way I was. If I liked something, I just liked it. Okay. And I would even have to say that it would come to, just being honest, when it comes to dating, I wouldn't necessarily just have to date like an African American, a black man. I could look at a white man and, and like him just the same. So my idea is, it's just, variety is the spice of life. And it's not saying that, I'm, wanting to go out here and get with all kinds of different people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I have an open mind. Okay. And I just remember growing up, there were times that I just felt like I didn't fit in because, I didn't. I mean, I would get made fun of about different things, or, if I liked something, I just liked it. So if there was like I don't know, Stevie Nicks song I liked. I like Stevie Nicks, okay? I like Fleetwood Mac. I like what I like. So, I just thought that I would talk a little bit about that. Maybe I'm wondering if, if you've joined me tonight, have you ever felt like you didn't quite fit in with your surroundings? You didn't fit in like when you were in school or when you go to work, or you just always kind of maybe felt like a misfit? I just kind of feel like if you're drawn to my channel because I go by the name Shadow Girl Sherry, maybe you may feel the same way. And my idea is it's not necessarily a bad thing to be a misfit, okay? Because what would the world be like if everyone were the same? Like, there would be no spice to life. There would be no variety if everyone were the same. So that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. And, when I think about Barry White and I saw this, it was a video or whatever, where he had talked about the fact when he was growing up that, if I'm not mistaken, if I can remember right, it's been a while since I watched, the clip or whatever, but I do believe he had said that, and I could see it being that way, that he felt like, he was different. His voice was different and all that, but that's what made him Barry White. That's the way that he had to stand out to become who he became to be, if you get what I'm saying. Like, he wasn't like everybody else. He was different. So my idea is to say that, guys, if you feel like you're a misfit, whereas there's been times in my life, definitely I felt like a misfit, I don't look at it as a bad thing anymore. It used to be a thing where I'm just like, man, why don't I fit in? Where it just kind of, I feel like sometimes when I go to different places, or I'll say even, in my family, I kind of feel like I'm a bit of the black sheep in my family. And it's not to say that, I don't get along with my family, but I've just kind of felt like at times where I wanted to fit in more. And there was like, I'll say it like this. There was a part of my family, one side of my family, where I always felt like I wanted to be more in with that part of my family. And I always felt like, I don't know, I grew up I wasn't around all that part of my family. So when I would go around, because I wasn't around them all the time, I just didn't fit in. And that's just the way I felt. That's just the way I felt. And I wanted to, but it just didn't work out that way because I wasn't around, that part of my family a lot. And I'll say that part of my family always seemed like everybody was so close. Everybody, what can I say? Everybody, if one person had like a problem, and this is the I'm saying is a very positive point that I'll say about one part of my family, like one half of my family, like it seemed like if one person was going through something, everybody would kind of join together and help that person get through. Like if there was like a money problem, I'm just being honest, if there was a money problem or something and somebody was struggling, it always seemed like this certain part of my family, like, everybody was going to go through and everybody was going to help this one person get through. And I always loved that part, that side and that part to my family. And I always wanted to be a part of that. And I'll have to say that, I feel like I come from a pretty big family. But I always kind of felt like I was more the outsider, but just because I didn't grow up around everyone, it's just the way it was. So, I wanted to share that. And I just thought about, again, this is like a last minute idea. And guys, I want to thank everyone who's joining me tonight. I see a Jim Rapp has joined me. I see a pink, peony, and that's a flower. And I don't even know how to pronounce it. And I know they are beautiful flowers. I think they're like, are they called peonies or peonies? They're just beautiful, beautiful, fat flowers, beautiful, healthy flowers. Okay. So I see Austin Killing has joined me. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. If I pronounce your name wrong, I do, apologize. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight on this last minute video. And again, I know that I'm kind of all over the place. I didn't, really get to look into the subject matter. I didn't get to look up all kinds of information about Barry White, but I was just kind of hanging out or whatever, chilling and doing my thing and looking out, for this particular family member. And all of a sudden, it came to my thought. I'm like, wait a minute, today's July the 4th. And I thought about Barry White and the fact that he passed away on this day. And again, I think it was in 2003. And what information I can think of off the top of my head about Barry White. I think what it was something about maybe kidney failure or something. That's what happened to him. And maybe he was on dialysis. I'm sorry that I don't have all my information like ready for you guys. But again, I was just, hanging out, chilling, whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm just thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, today's July the 4th. Barry White passed away. I'm a Barry White fan. I love his music. Guys, is there any Barry White fans in the house tonight? Is there a favorite song that you have by Barry White that you could leave in the comments? Again, I'm trying to think about different songs that he had, again, because he passed away on this day. He had music like, It's Ecstasy When You Lay Down Next to Me. I do believe that was featured on the Grand Theft Auto. It's Only Love. Barry White did that. Simply Red did that song as well. It's Only Love. I love both versions of that song. It's Only Love by Barry White and by Simply Red. If you could leave it in the comments on any of my videos, especially on this one when I upload it. If you know any of these songs, if you like which version do you like? Do you like Barry White's version of the song? Again, I didn't pick one sunset song for tonight. Again, when my channel is called Sunset Songs, with that being said, I'll quickly say it again. What is a sunset song? A sunset song it's a song that I think of before I go live or before I make a video, and it's tailored around whatever the subject matter is. Being that I'm talking about Barry White, I did not come up with a particular song. I'm just thinking about the different songs that Barry White had and songs that he had. It's Ecstasy When You Lay Down Next to Me. He did that. He did It's Only Love. He had Can't Get Enough of Your Love. Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe. I think there was some theme, The Lovers Unlimited or something. There's something about that, okay? What other songs? I see a buddy has joined me. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight on this 4th of July when you could be doing other things, you've taken some time out of your life or whatever, and you're joining me, and I want to thank you so much. I didn't get to go and really hang out with, my family, and I just kind of was with my household. I didn't get to go to a big, the big family get together or anything, just because I wanted to keep one of my family members is, in my house. I wanted to keep, it's my grandmother. I wanted to keep my grandmother out of the heat. It wasn't going to be a good idea to have her out in the heat and everything. And she wanted to go, but again, I just knew it wasn't a good idea. And we would get there and, she's going to want to eat all kinds of different desserts. And, the desserts I know were definitely in the house. Really good desserts, really good, food, macaroni and cheese, anything you can think of, macaroni and cheese, ham sandwiches, most likely I'm thinking of. I'm trying to think about everything that was probably at the cookout that I, was going to go, the family cookout that I was going to go to today, and all the good food that I missed out on. Hot dogs, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, potato salad, macaroni and cheese, all types of different soda, Coke, Sunkist, Diet Coke. I wouldn't have wanted to go for that today. I would have wanted the regular Coke, grape soda, just all these different things, pasta salads, everything, I know was there, and, we had to miss out on it. And I didn't want to take my grandma around all of that right now. And the way how she's, just trying to keep everything going good, for her or whatever. And I'm just like, I know it's not a good idea. The heat, the sweets, and she would want to, have a second, third, and, kind of helpings and all that going on, and the sweets, and then the heat and all that. It just wasn't going to be a good idea. So I didn't get to go. So I wanted to come and hang out with you guys, whoever would come and hang out with me tonight. And I want to thank you guys so much for spending this 4th of July with me, because, this is time you could be doing whatever, and you're hanging out with me. And I want to thank you so much. I see a Sue Haleman 05 has joined me. I see a Ron has joined me. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. So again, I'm thinking about Barry White, because again, Barry White passed away on July the 4th. I do believe it may have been in 2003. Guys, is there any music that you like by Barry White? I'm trying to think about more songs that he had. I love Barry White. I wanted to talk about Barry White, obviously, because he passed away on this day. This is the anniversary. I don't know how many years it's been, but what I wanted to talk about with Barry White is one of the things that I think about when I think about Barry White is the fact that deep voice that he had. It was a deep, mellow, very, very deep voice. And he had said in a interview how at one point it was his voice that he felt uncomfortable about. And in time, his voice was obviously is what it made him stand out. But it's a good thing to stand out. Like in my life, there's been so many times in my life where I felt like, I felt different because, I like all kinds of different music. I'm African American, but I like all different types of music. I remember when I was in school, I had girlfriends that didn't look like me, and there were times where, I think there were people that were just like, oh, well, she's not doing right or whatever. And it wasn't, if I like something or I wanted to hang out with someone or whatever, and you look different than me, I just didn't see that as a hang up. So, yeah, I feel like sometimes that's kind of what it made me feel like I was a misfit. But what I'm saying with Barry White is that was one of the things that I found out about him, guys. And right now it is 11:11. And, guys, when it comes to my channel and everything, I talk about all kinds of different things. I talk about angel numbers, and obviously 11:11 is a very, it's one of the angel numbers I know a lot of people know about. So right now, being that it's 11:11 and we are gathered together as a collective, and it's a intense energy, right? It's an heightened energy. I just want you to think about, and you might want to put your hand on your heart, whatever, and just think about something that you desire, a desire of your heart. It could be love. It could be more laughter in your life. It could be love. It could be a house, like a new home. It could be more friends. It could be a new car, just whatever. And I just want you to think of it as it's already your own. How would you feel if that in this moment right now, it were already yours? Because it's so said that with the law of attraction, in the law of attraction community, and so on and so forth, the feeling is very, very important. There are those that would say, okay, they don't believe in magic. I understand that because, first thing people want to say is, oh, when you start magical thinking and all that, oh, well, you have some kind of a mental problem or whatever. I've heard that a lot. And hey, maybe that's true. I don't know. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being delirious in the way that you just choose to be happy and believe in the magic of life. Okay. So I'll put it that way. Not saying that, it can't go too far and you can't, get delirious or whatever. But I think sometimes it's so said in the law of attraction community that, it kind of takes maybe a little delulu to draw, just to believe in things that, other people, they might want to look at you and say, oh, well, you can't have that. You can't do that. I heard somebody, I have somebody that I'm very close to that talks about it a lot, that at one point, I think, was it Henry Ford? Guys, I should have I'm talking. Okay, I think it was Henry Ford that came up with, Ford, okay, the cars and the trucks or whatever. Okay. There was a time where everybody thought that that was impossible. And now you look and it's all around. So, but there were people that tried to make him feel like, oh, well, it can't be done. Okay. There's so many different things that people have looked at certain people and thought, okay, it can't be done. And then now we're looking at it and it's going on. Like people are just, gravitating towards whatever it was that other people, there were so many people trying to tell them it couldn't be done. And now it's done. Like it's normal. It's normalized. Like it's no big deal. That's just the way it is now. So with that being said, if there's anything that you desire, that you have in your heart, the idea is, especially when you see an angel number, and that's like a number where you have two of the same number back to back, or it could be any number. I've heard that an angel and a number becomes an angel number when you have seen it, you keep seeing it, or you've seen it maybe, I'll say at least 3 times in one day, or it's just a number that you notice that you see it a lot. So then it's an angel number. And it's so said that it's like the universe trying, reaching out to you and trying to communicate with you. And guys, I want to quickly also say that it's so funny. I could have put it, on my next video or whatever, or maybe if I can go live for on the 7th month, July the 7th month, 7th day. That's a portal. Anytime you have a month and you have a day where there's two, you have, okay, the first month, first day, the first month, 11th day. I'll even say that. The second month, second day, the second month, 22nd day. So that's 3 twos there. Okay. You've got the third month, the third day, the fourth month, the fourth day, the fifth month, the fifth day, the sixth month, the sixth day, the seventh month, the seventh day. You get what I'm saying? Well, being that we are in July, in a couple of days, we're going to have the 7th month, 7th day. And I just saw where it looks like my network is unstable there for a second. So I apologize. But you have the 7th month, 7th day. And I wasn't even thinking about it. But it's so sad when you see these numbers, it's like the universe is trying to reach out to you. And I noticed that the last couple of days, I just saw the number, and I've been seeing 777 a lot. So that's the number 7 3 times, okay? And 777. So it's 777 is the number that I've just noticed. I've been seeing it a lot. I saw it here in my car. I'll have to put that up if I make a video. That'll be the perfect, scene or setup for you guys to look at on the 7th month, 7th day. I was in my car and I saw that number 777. Okay. I took a picture of it. I wasn't moving. My car wasn't moving. I had parked. And guys, I want to tell you guys, at one point, I looked down when I was driving. I was almost home. And as I'm driving, not only did I see 777, but I saw the number 7 4 times. And I'm just like, darn it. I hope I'm going to stop in time enough and be able to take the picture and have 4 7s back to back. I missed that, but at least I saw it with my own eyes. And then when I actually, parked in my driveway, I got to get a picture of the 777. When I took the picture, I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about the idea that we have the 7th month, 7th day coming up. And it's so said, guys, it may have been today. I follow different, content creators, and obviously I follow a lot of people that deal with in the law of attraction community. And, one of the videos had, already come up where there's a lady that I really like, and she had already posted her video about the 7/7, the 7/7 portal, which is the 7th month, 7th day. And she had already put her video up. And that's my thing. I want to get to the point. I haven't gotten there yet where I'm going to have my information together where when there's like a full moon comes up, I want to have my video for the full moon up a couple of days before the full moon instead of having it on the night of the full moon or the night of the fact of the new moon or whatever, just so that I can put it up. And then after I do the live, then I can put it up, and then everyone can come and watch the video in its entirety before they'll have time to look at it before the actual fact. But she had her video up, And when I saw it, I'm like, wait a minute, I've been seeing the number. It's kind of like the universe was already reaching out to me, but I just didn't see it that way. When I saw it, I just stopped and I just, thought about, what I was, a lot of times they say that when you see a number, a repeated number, angel number, um, stop and just kind of gather yourself and just think about what were you thinking at that time? What were you thinking of? Because the universe has a message in there, but whatever you were thinking of, and then you look at the clock at that time, that's where your message is. That's, something that the universe is trying to communicate to you. And some people look at it as it's like a crossed over loved one. It's all in the way you want to look at it. I know there's some people that look at it, whereas when you think about stuff like that, it's scary, or some people don't believe in it, or they think it's stupid, or there's different people that they can think of it, but then they think about it in a different way than somebody else would think of it. So I'm just giving you guys the idea. But basically, there's a content creator that I follow, and she already had it was a short about it, and she was talking about the 7 portal, which is the seventh month, seventh day. And whenever you have these days where there is repeated numbers back to back, the energy is said to be intense. Like, pay attention to different things that pop up for you at that time, because whatever pops up for you at that time is a message. It's for you. If there's some animal that you see that you normally don't see, and then all of a sudden you're out somewhere and then you see this animal and it's during this particular time, then that animal, you look it up and it has a message for you. And I'm telling you guys, there's been so many times where I've had different things where I've seen some animal that was like out of place, and I go and I look it up and it makes sense to me. I can't tell everybody that, because people think you're crazy and they'll be like, oh, well, you got some problem or whatever. And I'm not saying that, guys. I've said it here on my channel that I deal with depression. Okay. A little bit of ADHD, definitely some ADHD. I'm not even going to lie. I'm a Gemini, so I feel like it has something to do with that, but I can't just say it's just being a Gemini, because Gemini is the energy of the twins. That's the symbol that goes along with Gemini, is the twins. But I know that I have some ADHD and attention problems, so I've got to be real about that. But guys, I see a Vicky Fields has joined me. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on this 4th of July. I see a Brian Saint or Street. You get what I'm saying? I see a Country Gal has joined me. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me here last minute. I just wanted to tell you guys again about that idea of the 7/7 portal is coming up, the 7th month, 7th day. Think about what you might want to do for that day. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to come and have a live. I will try my best. I always try to make the full moon and new moon videos, come and hang out with you guys and on these different portals. But I have to admit, there are different things that are going on in my life right now. Sometimes I have time and sometimes I don't. I'm even going to say right now that my phone right now is at 36%. I think about numbers a lot. I was never good with numbers math, when it came to school and things like that. But when it comes to angel numbers, right now, I'm even looking at the time, it's 11:22. 11 and 22 are both master numbers. So I just want to go ahead and tell you guys that. And right now it is 11:22, and now my phone, it says my network went unstable, but it is 11:22. So that's two master numbers close to each other. So guys, and I'm talking to everyone. I see Vicky Fields. I see a Brian, ST has joined me, a Country Gal, Julie Harris, 549, Just for You has joined me. Guys, I want you to just consider that right now is 11:22. Think about something that you're trying to manifest into your life. And whenever you feel as if it's already yours, it's so said that it's coming closer to you. You're manifesting it. The universe wants to deliver it to you. So, it's 11:22. My phone is also, I'm looking at the numbers right now. I never was good at math in school, but my phone right now is at 36%. I'm thinking about those numbers. When you add 3 and 6 together, you get 9. That is the number of change. And even when you look at 3 and 6 and you think about, okay, 3 and 6 adds up to 9. There is a manifestation method that is called the 369 method. Now, again, obviously, when you add 3 and 6 together, you get 9. But that makes sense to me because, again, when you have the number 36, if you add the two numbers together, it equals 9. But at the same time, if you add a 9 to the end of the 3 and the 6, you get the 369. And there is a method called the 369 method. I'm not going to go all into that. If you're looking at this video, you're tuning in this live, you've probably already heard of it anyway. You think about the Tesla code, the keys to the universe. And when I think about Tesla, I think about the keys to a car. So, I see a Cheryl168 has joined me. That's funny because today I was listening to a song by a lady, Cheryl Lynn. So it makes me think about that right now. I see a Reed has joined me. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. Tonight, I just wanted to come and hang out with you guys last minute and talk about the 4th of July, the energy of it. The fact that I was invited to a 4th of July get together for, with family, but I couldn't go because I had to look out for the needs and, health of another family member. And then this person says, they're feeling great and everything right now. And, not only do I look after this person, but, everyone that I live with, we all, take, extra good care of this person. So, they're not alone right now. But I just wanted to come out and hang out with you guys for a little bit and just feel like I got to hang out with, you all for the 4th of July. And what I wanted to talk about tonight, I'm just talking a little bit about, Barry White, because Barry White, passed away on July the 4th. I do believe it may have been 2003. And I just wanted to talk about a couple of things that I know about Barry White. I didn't get to get lots and lots of information about him because, again, this was last minute. But I just thought about how I had made it like a little short video about him last year. I was just kind of relaxing. And then I'm like, wait a minute. It came to my thought. I sent the video, a little bit of the short or video that I made last year on this day. I put it in my story. I added it to my story here on TikTok. So I see that, stories are supposed to be like a real popular thing right now if you want to grow your channel. And obviously, I'm trying to reach out to more people and all that far and wide. So I decided that I would go ahead and upload the video that I made last year to my story here on TikTok. And, so you'll be able to see that, at least some of it. I don't think the whole thing went up, but some of it anyway. But last year, I just remember that I had made this video a little short about Barry White. And again, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about him tonight for Independence Day because he passed away on this day. Again, I do believe it was 2003. And what I wanted to talk about with Barry White, what I remember is the fact that he had said in a interview that, one of the things that he was very much known for, which was his deep voice, that deep, mellow, like deep voice that he had. At one point, that was something that he was made fun of. He felt uncomfortable about it because, he's this kid and then he goes, into, adolescence or puberty, as we all do. And, that can be a very awkward time where, some people fit in and then there's other people that don't. I was one of those ones where I didn't fit in. And I know that feeling. So what he had said that, she shared in this clip or video that I watched was the fact that when he was going through puberty, one day he's this little boy and then all of a sudden he wakes up the way, it happens with puberty. He wakes up and his voice is real deep. And this made him feel uncomfortable. And this was what came to be, his power, his strength. I mean, Barry White was known for that deep voice. If he hadn't had the deep voice, well, he would have blended in with everybody else And, he just would have just blended in. But because he had that voice and this was something that made him feel uncomfortable, and maybe, kids made fun of him. And again, I said it earlier, it made me think about the idea of, if you've ever heard of that saying, Christmas in July. It made me think of that thing, oh, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Um, they never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games because, he was different. He didn't fit in with everybody. But then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? So, and then how the reindeer loved him, and so that's what I thought of when I thought about Barry White. And I think about Christmas in July, that saying, if you've heard of it, Christmas in July. And I thought about Rudolph and how he didn't fit in and everybody made fun of him. And that was a childhood thing. We all heard about that when we were children. They used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. And this is what, then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him. And, isn't that how it goes? So, with Barry White, he had that voice, he's this little boy. And then all of a sudden he goes through puberty and his voice gets real deep. And this is something that made him feel uncomfortable. And it made him stand out. And, we don't always like to stand out. We want to think that we fit in with everybody else. But my idea, what I want to spread to you guys and let you know, I'm thinking about Barry White and the fact that he felt like he didn't fit in. But that's what made him, not fitting in is what made him stand out. So then that's how his career or his stage presence, whatever came about, is because he was so different and he didn't fit in. So my message to you is that if you feel like you don't fit in, because I've often felt like that in my life, that I haven't fit in, I'll go to different places and I'll, I think, okay, well, if I go here, maybe everything's going to be perfect here. I think everywhere you go, there's always going to be someone that's not going to like you, and that's always been like a kind of a painful thing for me. And it started when I was very young, when you think about, I remember even, and this is crazy, but I can remember before I went to school, how I was so excited. Like, I want to go to school. And, I had an older sibling and I'm like, man, I want to go to school. And then when I got in school, of course, there were kids that I fit in with, and then there were kids that I didn't fit in with. And I always was one of those ones where I wanted to, I wanted, want to be liked, and I'm going to be nice. And I'm thinking, okay, if I'm nice, then, people are going to be nice back to me. And that's not necessarily the way it works. Does anybody feel what I'm saying? I hope that you guys are enjoying this live as much as I am enjoying, having a live. I hope that you guys will choose to like, click, share, subscribe, all those different things here on TikTok. I go under, I have Shadow Girl Sherry Shadow Closet. When you find me over on YouTube, you're looking for Sunset Songs. And I'm going to make it more so when I'm going to try to add in like what you're looking for when you go over on YouTube and you're looking for Sunset Songs, because there are multiple channels that go by the name Sunset Songs. But obviously, again, Shadow Girl Sherry, mine is fitting for me. Mine is it's about music, a sunset song, but it's also where I tailor in the law of attraction, and I make the law of attraction, I tailor the song to fit, whatever the subject matter is that I'm going to be talking about in my different videos. So, that's why I called my channel Sunset Songs, and my voice is getting a little bit raspy now. But that's perfect because I'm talking about Barry White. And, again, Barry White, what he was known for was that deep voice that he had. I'm sorry, he passed away. It's now 11:33. And I do believe 33 is another master number. So it's 1133 right now. And I just want you to think about something, being that, we're gathered together as a collective. I want you to think about something that you hold dear to your heart, something that you want to see appear in your life. And it's so said that, through the law of attraction, when you are um, keeping up a high frequency, and when you basically feel the feeling of you already have something, that's when the universe is really hearing you, and it wants to it's really wanting to the universe wants to deliver to you the desires of your heart, but you have to be on the same frequency as that desire. So if you are wanting love in your life, then you have to be on the same frequency. You have to be on the frequency of love to attract it into your life. So I see Phil has joined me. I see oh guys, Barrel. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. I do apologize if I've, pronounced any names wrong. I see Alfred, I don't, Arcelio has joined me again. Not the best with names. I don't know why, but when I look at that name, I think about Arsenio Hall. I don't know why. I'm just telling you guys what's coming to the top of my mind right now. And guys, you know what? I just thought about Arsenio Hall. I think that's so funny. It may have been on, maybe possibly. I could be wrong. I have to look it up when I finish this live. It may have been on the Arsenio Hall show where Barry White was talking about, if I'm not mistaken, it may have been on the Arsenio Hall show. That was a long time ago, where Barry White was talking about his voice. And Barry White had one time said something about how he really believed that we as humans were like mini gods. We were like little gods. Like if you think about, and I'll say this right now, guys. A lot of people say that the law of attraction is kind of like witchcraft. Okay, now I want to quickly say and let you know that yes, I, Shadow Girl Sherry, believe in God. I believe in God, but at the same time, I have a respect for the fact that depending on where you grew up in the world, or whatever household, family, family background you have, you may think something different, and I can respect that as well. But Shadow Girl Sherry, I grew up in a home where, I was taught to believe in God, and I do believe in God. But at the same time, I can't help that I have a respect for other beliefs as well. And I like to explore, and here on my channel, I like to talk about explore all different types of ideas. And I got to share that I have actually been in church, and I've heard like the words like manifestation used. Okay. And I was sitting in church and I'm hearing the word manifestation, it just made me think about the law of attraction and how some people would say, oh, well, that's witchcraft. Okay. Well, I heard the word manifestation in church. So it's like, I just kind of see this connection. I know that I can't go everywhere and say this stuff because of, oh, well, this is evil and this and that. But to me, if you're trying to be positive, how are you hurting anything? So these are just the things that I wanted to share with you guys. But when it comes to Barry White, he had said something about how he really believed that we were like mini gods, like a mini god. And when I think about that, I think about the fact that when I think about, when I go to church and it's said that basically God, when he made you, and this is what I was always taught, that when he created us, when he created you, he created me, whatever, he put a part of himself, he encapsulated or like put a part of himself inside of you. And this is basically what you have to go along with you on your journey in life. So whenever you feel like you're alone, you just have to kind of stop and think, am I really alone? God is with me. And Barry White he basically said that it was kind of like we are many gods, like a mini god, like a little god, like we're many gods. And when I think about God and I think about what I've always been taught, the idea was when God made us, he put a part of himself inside of you, encapsulated a part of himself inside of us. So all throughout the journey of your life, you're never alone. He's always with you. So that's what I was always taught. So, and that's really what I believe. But at the same time, again, like Barry White, I said it, he just said that he really thought, he looked at it as like we are many gods, like a mini god. And I look at it as like that's when he made us, he put a part of himself inside of us. And that even makes me think, and look, my phone just said that my network went unstable. It makes me kind of think about that. What was it, a saying or a poem or whatever, footprints in the sand, that whenever you thought you were alone, footprints in the sand, guys, that's just what it makes me think of. Like you thought you were alone, but you never were. You just had to believe. But then at the same time, guys, I gotta say it, it makes me think about like the Wizard of Oz, like that you have to believe in yourself. Like Dorothy was, there's the Wicked Witch of the West, and then there's the Good Witch and all that, and here the idea of witchcraft. I'm sorry, but and this was something we learned about as kids, like the Wizard of Oz, like Dorothy, the power was always in her, but she had to believe it. And then that's, where the magic was. But she had to know it and she had to believe it and accept it for herself before it would happen. So, but there's so many people I know that I couldn't say these certain things because I would have to keep explaining for them to get what I'm saying. Because the first thing they would say, oh, well, you believe in witchcraft and evil this and evil that. Well, the thing about it was when we were growing up as children, we were taught fairy tales. And a lot of times in fairy tales, there were witches. So, I was always fascinated by that stuff. And I always loved fairy tales, I love the idea of, the fairy tales. I think about Cinderella. I think about Snow White. I think about all that stuff. I think about Barbie. I love Barbie. But these were things that we grew up with. But then there will be people that will try to condemn it and say, oh, well, it's evil when you talk about witches and you're talking about witchcraft and all this. And that's just not the way I look at it, because I know in my heart that I'm not setting out to try to put evil out into the world. But at the same time, I also know that it's a world of duality. So you can't just walk around delirious and think that everything's fair, because the world, it doesn't have to be a fair place. So that's my idea. And here on my channel, I talk about all of it. It's a discussion. It's not like an argument. When I go live and things like that, I'm trying to avoid arguing. The idea is to discuss. And I've talked about Barry White, so that's where I got started from. But now, I'm being Shadow Girl Sherry and the Gemini in me, and I'm just talking about a lot of different things. I've talked a little bit about the idea of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, and fairy tales, and the idea of witchcraft, and how there's some people where if I were to say this stuff, first thing they think is I'm talking evil and I'm doing evil stuff. Well, we grew up with fairy tales and stuff like that. We grew up with hearing about the Wicked Witch, and but then there was the Pretty Witch, and and then when I think about being an adult woman now, I think about like the Good Witch, and that there was the Pretty Witch in the Wizard of Oz. Well, then I think about glamour magic, and what's wrong with looking in a mirror and saying affirmations and being under your own spell in its own way and thinking that you're beautiful. I'm look in the mirror and I think, well, I'm going to look at myself and know, how I was created. I was created from love. I know I was created from love because my mom told me, and she told me that she loved my dad, and I know my dad loved my mom. So I'm made of love. And, that makes me think of the book, The Secret. And that was one of the things that I learned about in The Secret, that basically what you are down to the core, if you think about it, is if you think about peeling back an onion, Um, if you were to think about yourself and you were just think about what you are, um, your core, what your center, what you are made of, is your ball of love. You're a ball of love, and I mean, I'd like to think that we're all love. Like there was love when that's how you got here. Love was made, and then you manifested. So I know that's what I'm made of, and it's so said that that's what in the law, in the book The Secret, it said that basically that's what you are. You are a manifestation of love. So when you're on that frequency of love, then you're drawing that loving energy towards you. So you're on a high frequency and you're drawing these positive things towards you. So that's my idea. And guys, I want to say this. I'm thinking about the whole Barry White thing, and I'm thinking about recently I was somewhere and I noticed, like, I know that there are people, and I want to just say what's up to everybody. I see a Lavette Watley, and Watley, that makes me think about Jody Watley. These I'm thinking about these singers. Like, go and look these people up, Jody Watley, and see if you like any music by Jody Watley. Very pretty African American female, Jody Watley. But that when I saw the name Lavette Watley, I thought about Jody Watley. You can see why I call my channel Sunset Songs. But all together, guys, I was just out recently, and they also 1144. And guys, that's a powerful number too. Think about just 144 and just being a chosen one. Chosen. I'll say, hey guys, you chose to come and hang out with me tonight, and I want to thank you so much. This is Shadow Girl Sherry. You're hanging out with me for this 4th of July, and I want to thank you so much. We're making memories right now. Like next year for the 4th of July, if I want to know what I was doing last year, only thing I have to do is pull it up and watch this video, and I know exactly what was going on for the 4th of July, and I can think about all you guys. I named your names out, so I know that I was hanging out with Austin Killing T, or you get what I'm saying? I see a Strasica 75. I know you guys were all hanging out with me because I called your names out, and I'll know what I was doing next year on the 4th of July. And I want to thank you guys so much because I've always been the type where I love to, journal and write in a diary and everything, but sometimes that can get you kind of wear on your hands, right? And I've always enjoyed doing that, so it can get tiring. So when I started making my videos and everything for YouTube and TikTok, and whenever you guys join me, you guys are making it so much easier for me because I don't have to go and get a journal or a diary and write all the time. Everything out that's going on in my life, I can just go live and share, sacred time and sacred space with you guys. And I basically have a diary entry, and I didn't even have to write anything down. So I want to thank you guys. But again, next year at this time, I'll know exactly what I was doing. I'll know that I was hanging out with user 13958170821. I'll know that I was hanging out with, I've called your names out, and I want to thank you guys so much. Next year at this time, I'll know that I was hanging out with you guys for the 4th of July. And to me, that's awesome. So, let's see what I wanted to share. Another thing that I wanted to share, I've been talking about Barry White and all that. Recently, I know I go by the name Shadow Girl Sherry. And with that being said, if you're watching this video right now, and I got to get a drink because my throat's drying out from talking so much, and I thought this was going to be like a, 20-minute hangout or maybe a half an hour, and it's gone over that. Courtesy of you guys, I want to thank you guys so much. Guys, I hope that I don't know if you can leave candles here on TikTok, but I love candles. Like if you join me over on YouTube, I'd love to see candles left in my, in my comments. Even if you don't want to leave a song, if you don't want to leave a comment, I'm going to be so happy when I see that first candle or first 2 candles, because that's my idea. The first time I went live, I started with a candle, and the idea is every time I go live, I'm not doing it right now, but for the most part, before I go live, as I'm going live, I have a candle that I burn. and it's basically a candle for all of us. It's for our manifestations. And I have something that is kind of like a traveling altar. What it is a candle that I set inside of a kind of like a soup pot or soup tureen. It has a ladle and everything. And um, every day I try to work with it. Sometimes I don't have enough time, but basically what I do is I burn an incense. I try to I open a window, let the scent, go out into the air, kind of like an apple pie. You think about the 4th of July right now. It's the 4th of July, and what's more American than apple pie? If you ever seen like a cartoon or something where they have like a pie on the window, the in the window seal or whatever, and the scent of the pie is going out or whatever. I light a incense, and then as the smoke is going out the window, I'm thinking about um what I'm asking the universe to bring into my life. Like as it's like going out, like it's like an exhale, leaving out of my house or whatever. The incense going out like an exhale. I'm putting the idea is to have the negative leave out. Whatever negative energy is in my home, if there's an argument that's happened, I'm asking for that negativity to leave out and, go out and be cleared outside with Mother Nature, and it works, it's, magic or whatever. And then whatever problems that I feel that, that I have, or even when I think about you guys, if you have a problem, my idea is for that problem to go out. And then out in the world, out in the universe, there's so many answers that 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 could come about to solve whatever the question was, whatever the problem was. It's out there. Like it's all been done before. So if you have a problem, you think there's something, there's no answer to it. There's somebody that's gone through the same thing, so there's an answer out there. So my idea is when I open that window, it's leaving out. Like the answer, like the problem is going out. And the idea is, or even if it's like an argument that's happened in my house, like my idea is when I open that window and I have the incense and it goes out, the idea is for the arguments and all the frustration, whatever, any negative energy that's inside the house, I want it to be exhaled and expelled out the window. And then when outside, there's love and there's light, and there's love and light in my house, but not everything is love and light. You know what I mean? There's arguments, and it will go out. And I think about you all as well. Whatever problems you have, whatever, it's going out the window. And then as the air, the incense goes out, there's air, fresh air that's coming in. So the idea is for to breathe the answer, or to breathe the fresh energy in. So I try to do that every day. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. But basically, from the very first time I started going live, there was a candle. And the first time I went live, it wasn't lit. And if you, I need to start putting numbers beside all my videos so that I can make a reference to it. And then you guys can go back and look at the video. But the very first time I went live, the very first time I went live, the candle was not lit. And my idea was, I was so nervous, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how is this going to go? And I just decided, okay, I got to stop being nervous, and I just got to do it. And I turned the camera on, and my voice was cracking, and I was so nervous and everything. But then as I went on, I started to relax, because I'm just like, okay, even if just one person joins me, the idea was, okay, if one person joins me, then they have lit the candle. And the first time that I went live, it wasn't lit. Like, there was just a candle, and I remember it was a guava scented candle. And because I had one person to join me, that's all I needed. The idea was, okay, the next time I go live, I'm going to light it. And that's how I worked it from that point on. And every time when I go live, I try to have a candle. Before I go live, I burn an incense to say, okay, I'm going to send the negative energy out and positive energy is going to come in. And my idea is, I say like a little bit of a prayer, and I say, okay, put my voice, my message out in for the right people to hear it. I'm calling my group people that are on the same vibe as me. You're trying to be positive. We know that there's negative energy out here. We know that there's negative things. There's things that we have to deal with. But the idea is we're coming together as a group and we're trying to turn it around and transmute it into something better, into something much better, and make our lives magical. And there's lots of people that look at that and will think, oh, that's stupid. But anyhow, guys, but the very first time I went live, the candle wasn't lit. If I had just one person to join me, then they were lighting that candle. And I believe the first time I went live, it was maybe like 13 people that joined me, and it's grown from there. And, I think it was only 13 people. And, 13 is a very feminine, it's a wonderful number. When you take the two numbers together, you have 13, you have 3 and 1, you have 4. So that's a very powerful number because it's grounding, okay? And it's stability. So these are all the things that I think about. But basically, guys, I think what I was, I go talking and everything, but basically what I just wanted to share with you guys is just the first time I went live, I was so nervous. I had a candle, it wasn't lit. My idea was if at least just one person joined me, that was kind of lighting the candle, and you're telling me, okay, Shadow Girl Sherry, it's okay to come out and play. I enjoyed the live, or I enjoyed, and maybe I'll come back and hang out with you again, and we're going to make this thing happen. And it's happened, like I'm still working on it. I don't get to go live every day. There's times that I've had to take breaks because there's other things that I've had to deal with. But, I love my channel and I love this. Like, I feel like I found myself and I'm finding my tribe by doing this. And what I wanted to share with you guys is that recently I was out, and I know that there are people that know, they know about my channel. And I go by the name Shadow Girl Sherry. I don't come out and show my face, but I don't live in like the biggest, like, area. Like, it's like a smaller community, and it's a place where a lot of people know each other. And if you don't know each other, like, there's word of mouth. You know how that goes. There's word of mouth. The next place over isn't far away, and it's just a smaller kind of place. It's not this big place like the world's a huge place. And my big thing is I want to reach out to all around the world, and I want to reach out to people that don't even know me. And guys, if you can leave in the comments where you're listening to this live from, I would really appreciate that. I want to start saying that. I want to remember that and start saying that, to have everyone, if you could leave in the comments where you're tuning in from, I would really appreciate it. Now, I don't mention where I'm tuning in from, and I do apologize. It's a safety thing, and I'll build up to it. But if you feel comfortable doing that, I would appreciate it. But basically, guys, I've gotten a little bit off the subject. That's me. I'm a Gemini. If you go over on my channel, Sunset Songs, if you can, I'm going to be so happy when somebody leaves me a candle. Just leave a candle in the comments. 1, 2 would be great, but if you leave just 1, I'm going to be so happy with that, because I'll know that someone is listening. Someone is listening to what I had to say, because that's what I've been wanting from the very first time I went live. The idea was I started out with a candle, and the first time I went live, the candle wasn't lit. And my idea was, if I have one person to join me, then I can light that candle, because that's like somebody saying, okay, hey, I like the idea. I like the message that you're spreading. I'm trying to think positive, and this is going to keep spreading and spreading and spreading. And that was my idea. So I'm going to be so happy, and I'll know that, I'm being heard when I get on my channel, Sunset Songs, on YouTube, and I see a candle, or I see 2 candles, or I see 5 candles, or I see enough candles to think about, like, I'm not saying a forest fire, but just to get something going. Like, if somebody just put a bunch of different candle, like, emojis or whatever you call it, I'll be so happy. Or even if you put 1 or 2 or 3, I'll be so happy, because I'll know that I was heard. and people are catching on to what I'm saying. But guys, I had an experience recently, and like I said, I'm not from the biggest area. So I think that, when you're the smaller the area you're in or you're from, the smaller the minds and the smaller the ideas. There's not a whole lot of variety. Um, the smaller the place, the smaller the minds, the smaller the ideas. And it's not to say that it's like a thing of education or the people are stupid or anything like that, but the smaller the mindset, you'll have people to where they don't want to think outside of the box. They don't want to consider a bigger idea. It's just everything is just smaller. And then the more you reach out, the more different variety you see. So my thing is, I went somewhere and I know that there are people that know who I am. I know that they know the sound of my voice, and they know who I am. And with that being said, if you're tuning into this live, I want to thank you so much, because what I'm saying is, I don't share with everybody the fact that, okay, I have a channel, and this is my channel is called Sunset Songs, and I'm Shadow Girl Sherry, and this and that and the third. I don't tell anybody about it. I don't advertise my channel. At least I'm not advertising it yet. I may get to the point where I might start doing it. But my idea is, I'm calling in my tribe. I want to find like-minded people. If this shows up on your For You page, this was meant for you. But I have people in everyday life that I don't tell them that I have a channel or anything. And I don't appear in my videos. So I know the people that I know, they know the sound of my voice, so they've heard it. And I've had some people come out and say, oh, well, I know that I heard you or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that, whatever. And I don't come out and just say, hey, yeah, I have a channel, because that's not the idea. I want to find my tribe. So if you're watching this right now, I want to thank you so much, because I feel like you're a part of my tribe. And if we met, it's like we would probably be kind of the same. So it's like, okay, why don't we go somewhere and get a coffee and just hang out and talk a little bit? Or why don't, full moon's coming up or new moon's coming up, why don't you come chill at my house or something? Or we'll sit out on the porch, or no, let's go out and just, ride around under the full moon, or it's new moon tonight. Let's light some candles together, or let's go to this coffee shop, or let's go have dinner and look out, sit near the window and look up at the full moon, or, sit outside and, have a dinner out, the patio at this restaurant or whatever. And we're going to look up and look at the sky and talk about what's going on, and talk about what zodiac sign the new moon or the full moon's falling under that night or whatever. That's kind of what I feel like if we were to meet, like, because again, I don't advertise about my channel, but I know that there are people in it, the more I go to different places and things like that, I know that there's people where they know that I have a channel. I say here on my channel, okay, here on TikTok, whatever, like, click, share, subscribe. Well, when you like, click, share, subscribe, you push me out into the algorithm. So then there's going to be other people that are going to find me. So I know that there are people that know my voice. They know that I have a channel. I go by the name Shadow Girl Sherry, but with that being said, my first name is Sherry. So when I go out to different places and I talk, people hear my voice and they're like, I think that might be that girl that I heard the other night that goes by Shadow Girl Sherry. Okay. And I've been at different places recently where I've heard people say little things and I'm listening to them and I know they're talking about me, or at least, and I don't think it's paranoia. It's like, I know they're talking about me. I'll hear people say things about, oh, well, recently I was somewhere and I heard this woman was talking about, oh, well, this ritual that was done, a ritual. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I really do believe that she may have heard my channel, and she thinks that she knows my name because I've said my name, and she has heard my voice, and she's put it together that I'm Shadow Girl Sherry because I said that my name is Sherry. And then maybe because my video has been pushed out into the algorithm, every time you like, click, share, subscribe, it pushes me out further, which is a wonderful thing. But there's always going to be people that aren't going to like you. You're not going to be liked by everybody, And so I have this feeling there I was somewhere and somebody starts talking about something that they had heard about, and it was a ritual or something that was done. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I think that this person has heard, they think they know who I am." And but the thing about it is they don't know who I am. They don't know my heart. They don't know my heart. They don't know everything about me, so they're judging me. And they're thinking that, "Oh, I've said something about the words witchcraft or whatever," and they think I'm some kind of evil person. And as they're talking about whatever this ritual or whatever that they had heard that was done to somebody or whatever, I'm listening to them and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, now I never said anything about doing all these evil things and so on and so forth," because they're talking about something that had happened, that had went down, and this some woman's talking to herself, and maybe they're thinking because I have a channel, it's kind of like you're talking to yourself, and I want this person, I know myself, it's not like I'm talking to myself, because maybe if I were somewhere in a park and I was making a video or something, somebody might look in the car and think, "Oh, well, she's talking to her." Well, no, I'm not talking to myself because I'm making a damn video, right? And I don't want to get mad or mean or be negative because I'm trying to be positive. But is damn really a bad word anyway? There's lots of terrible words that are more expressive of anger than damn. You know what I mean? So but basically, if I were, say I was in my car and I was talking, and but if I'm making a video, I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to my viewers. So I'm not talking to myself, okay? And she's just talking about somebody talking to themselves and all this. And I'm listening and I'm like, "Oh my goodness gracious," just because I have a channel. And even if say I'm in my car and I am saying something out loud, well, who's to say I have a Bible in my car? Who's to say I'm not saying that I'm talking to God or I'm praying? Who's to say I'm talking to myself? And I'm, maybe the woman wasn't talking about me or whatever, but she's just talking about all this ritual stuff. And I'm like, see, she doesn't know my heart. If she's talking about me, maybe I perceived it wrong. But the idea is, I thought about what she was saying, and anytime you become a content creator or I think a lot of people probably feel this way when you start going into content creation. Like the way I looked at it is, I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Do I want to become a content creator? I was definitely nervous. I was nervous even, once I started making my videos, it's like, okay, I'm making my videos. But then when I started going live, it made it even more, uncomfortable and scary and all that. But I started thinking, the more I go around people and I hear people say little things, and, obviously I talk about things like tarot cards. And one of the videos recently, obviously, because recently we had something that was in Capricorn. The tarot card that corresponds with Capricorn is the Devil tarot card. And when a lot of people hear about tarot cards, there's some people think it's evil anyway. But then when you're talking about the Devil tarot card, oh, people are really going to think it's something evil. But, obviously there's negativity to it. But hey, there are Capricorns out here. There's people that are just Capricorns. And the Devil tarot card corresponds with Capricorn. Well, is every Capricorn evil? I know some Capricorn, they're not evil. They're just, they're very direct. If you know about the energy of Capricorn, Capricorns are very direct. They say what they mean what they say. At least the ones that I know, and that's the energy that comes along with Capricorn, and the energy is boundaries. Anything like a new moon or full moon comes up in Capricorn season comes up, you start hearing about boundaries. Like Capricorn energy is about boundaries. It's about, kind of like hard work, that kind of energy. But when it comes to, if you were to say that, okay, obviously the tarot card that most corresponds with Capricorn is the Devil. Are Capricorns evil? No. Is the Devil Tarot card necessarily evil? Not necessarily. It has a it features two people, a man and a woman, and then of course the devil is above them. Okay, and the idea of the energy of the card is there's chains. If I can think of it right, I believe there are chains in it. But the idea is, I said boundaries. Like Capricorn energy, you're going to hear a lot about boundaries. Well, the idea is there are chains in the tarot card, but the idea is you may feel like you're bound, like by temptation. It could be lust, it could be desire or whatever. Or it could just be like temptation, like, you love food, or there's something that you love, but it's something that could be negative, that like you feel like you're bound to it. But in the tarot card, the chains, you're not tied up. The idea is you have to figure out that no, you can let yourself loose at any time. You're not bound. It's just the chains are there, but you have the capacity. I don't know if that's the word I'm saying, if I'm saying it right. You have the capacity or the ability, whatever. It's there. Like you can undo these chains at any time, because you're not bound by it. You're not bound by it. You're not necessarily tied up or locked up. You can set yourself free at any time, because you're free the whole time. So I just wanted to share that. But I was in a setting where I heard somebody talking this stuff, and I'm like, talking about all these rituals and different stuff, and I'm like, if this woman's talking about me, she doesn't know my heart. She doesn't know my heart at all. She doesn't even really know necessarily about the Devil Tarot card. It doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing, right? And I started feeling like really, really uncomfortable, and it made me feel, bad that somebody was thinking, it could possibly think that I was trying to put negative out into the world, or that I'm listening to the things that she was saying was done in this, ritual or setting or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, now come on, ma'am. I don't deal in things like that. If you were to listen to my whole live or tune into my whole video, you would find out that I'm not about that at all. I'm about love and light. But you do have to know that we live in a world of duality. You can't walk around delirious and think that everybody around you has got your best interests at heart, and then you can just go around and just blindly just trust everything. And no, like, it is a world of duality. There's good, there's bad, and there's ugly out there. But I don't try to deal in the negative. I don't try to deal in the ugly. I don't try to deal in, I definitely don't do rituals where I'm sacrificing anything. A black cat, I love black cats. I love animals. You're going to hear me say a lot of times how much I love animals. If I could heal the entire world and there would be no pain at all, no suffering, no tears, everybody would be happy all the time, that's exactly what I would have. And I think that most people, people in everyday life, if they knew me, if they really know me, they should know that about me. I'm not about, if I could go around and never have an argument, that's the way I would have it to be. But that's not the world we live in. There's no way we can live in a world and be around each other and not argue. I love my family members, the people that I live with. But come on now, we have arguments all the time. But at the end of the day, we know we love each other, and we know that we're going to make up. It's like, oh, we're mad at each other and don't agree on things and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we always try to go to bed and, let each other know that, good night, we had a rough day, but we know at the end of the day that we love each other, and that if anything, if one goes through something, we're all going through it. Like if one person in the house is sad, there could be, two people having an argument, and then, there's somebody that's like, we're not going to gang up on everybody gang up on one person. That's not how we do things. Like, we're good people. So I'm listening to this woman and I'm thinking, wow, like, I hope she's not talking about me, because anybody that knows me in real life, they have to know that I'm like one of the most like loving and caring people that you could meet. But at the same time, for that reason, I've been hurt a lot too. I've been hurt so many times in my life because I am such a sweet person. I'm a nice person. And when you go out in the world and you're that way, oh, people take advantage of it. They take advantage of it. They take advantage of you. When people know you're a nice person, they're going to want to pick fights with you. I don't know what it is about being nice that brings the worst out in people. Like, you could be the nicest person and you'll be the one that's going to be taken advantage of the most just because you're nice. I don't know what it is about it. I had somebody recently tell me that, being too kind and being too sweet, it brings like it attracts evil spirits. An evil spirit can sense when someone's too nice. It's almost like, if you think about, and this person told me this, it's like, I'll say this, like, say somebody is not being like honest. Just say somebody's not being honest. It's kind of like a dog can pick up on it. It's kind of like a dog can always pick up on, and I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but if you have a dog, like a dog can sense fear. You can't hide fear. Like if you have like a pretty mean dog, it could turn, or if a dog just has like a slight kind of mean kind of tendency to it, if you come around the dog and it senses your fear, it can sense it, and it knows that you're scared of it. It can sense your fear, and then it'll kind of act on it. It'll growl at you. But then if there's somebody else that comes in, I had a boyfriend at one point, and he wasn't scared of like pit bulls or any kind of dogs. He would just come in and just, hey buddy, and everything's cool. And the dog would be okay with it because it knew that the dog knew that this boyfriend that I had didn't fear it. You get what I'm saying? So it would be okay. The dog would be okay with him. And he would tell me, the dog senses your fear. If a dog senses fear, it gets mean. If it's that type of a dog, it can sense it. So it senses the fear, and then, it'll start to growl at you. Or, if a dog it seems like a dog can kind of tell if someone's not being genuine. It's like, kind of like this person's not genuine. Like, I think you get what I'm saying. But, again, like I said, I had a boyfriend, and, whenever he would be around like pit bulls and things like that. And I'm not saying pit bulls are mean or anything, but, I can't say that I'm the most, I don't want to talk about fear and all that, but I think we all have different things that we fear. But I'll leave it at that. But this woman, I don't know her from anybody, but it's just something that I've got to, something that I have to attend. And, she doesn't know me personally but I think she's heard my channel. And I'm like, she's talking all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, ma'am, come on now. You're saying all this stuff that somebody did to somebody, some ritual or what. I'm like, I would have no parts of that. I would have no parts of that. If I knew something about that, the cops would be called immediately. I don't do things like that. And when I'm listening to her, I started thinking about, my content and being a content creator and the subject matter that I talk about, because yes, I talk about a little bit of everything. I talk about witchy things. Yes, I like witchy things. We grew up hearing about the good witch, the what was it? The Wicked Witch of the West. And then there was the Pretty Witch. And then we have, fairy tales have the witch in it. You have Snow White. You have the witch with the growth or the bump on their nose or whatever. And then, then there's the idea of the pretty witch. So it's just like, what's wrong with me talking about witchcraft? Like, and when I say witchcraft, if that makes you feel uncomfortable, kind of look at it as, which way do you want to go? When you think about the law of attraction, which way do you want to go? Do you choose to live your life where you're thinking negative all the time? Or and you're walking down that path? Or you looking at life as when you wake up in the morning, yes, it's magical because you woke up. Not everybody did. Like, it's not to say that your day is going to be perfect, but why not just get up in the morning and just say, wow, what wonderful things could happen to me today because, I was so blessed to wake up this morning. Not everybody made it. Not everybody made it through the night. So what's wrong with thinking, okay, I woke up, wonderful. I'm going to say some affirmations, or I'm going to say thank you to my Heavenly Father, or I'm going to say thank you to the Most High, or I'm going to say thank you to the Divine. I'm going to, open my blinds and just not look directly at the sun, obviously, but just think, well, what wonderful things could happen to me today? That's my idea. And do I do, look into what the meaning of different plants and stuff like that? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But am I an evil person? No, I'm not. I'm not doing things, to hurt anybody. If I could make the whole world, heal the whole world and make it a better place of just love and laughter, that is exactly what I would do. And anybody that knows me for real, they know that about me. I'm not perfect, but they know that I'm a good person. And if I could spread love and goodness like wildfire, that's exactly what I would do. And with that being said, I'm listening to this woman and I'm like, wow, maybe I'm just like, should I stop doing content creation? Should I stop my channel? Should I name my channel another name and not go by the name Shadow Girl Sherry? Should I not include my name? That way I won't be ridiculed when I go to different places. And then I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not going to do that. I like my channel. I like reaching out to people and thinking that, I'm going to help someone. If I help just one person every time I go live, or I can brighten somebody's day, that's what I want to do. And am I going to talk about all kinds of different things? Yes. Am I going to talk about, I'm of age. So if I want to talk about something like, you might call it sex magic. Well, isn't sex magic anyway? Either way, even if I'm not talking literally about sex magic, but I'm talking about sex, well, isn't that magic? To me, it is, because, well, that's how everyone got here. It's through sex. So isn't that magic? That's the way I see it. So, and again, I'm of age, so why can't I talk about it? And there are going to be times that, yeah, I might pick a song that's, very, very loving, or very, 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 very romantic. I might pick a song that might seem kind of dirty or whatever, but, I'm just talking about love. We all have those kind of feelings. So, and I'm of age, so why can't I? So I thought about all this and I'm like, oh, should I change my channel? Should I, change the name of my channel and then just make up another name and then not include my name, Sherry? And I'm like, no, I'm not, because I do want some recognition as to that I came up with this idea, to come up with a channel, and this is how I work my channel, and this is what I do. And I thought about it and I'm like, somebody told me, like, you know what? A lot of people, there's so many things that people want to do, but they don't have the nerve to do it. So I had the nerve to make content creation and to come up with a channel. And am I going to drop it? No, I'm not. I'm going to keep doing what I do, because there's been so many times in my life, guys, that I've been that type of person where I was the one where I always let people talk me out of things. Like, it's like, okay, I want to do this, or I feel compelled to do this. And then somebody will say, oh, well, I don't, that's stupid or whatever. And then I would be the one that would back down and wouldn't do it. Or with me and like my friends that I had, I was the one that was kind of known as the sensible one, or the one that was cautious. And I'd be like, okay, you want to go out and do something like really, really crazy, or, and then I'd be the one that would think about the consequences. And at first I'd be like, oh, well, maybe we should do it. And then I would be the one that would come to my senses and be like, I don't know. I don't think we should do this. And there would be people that would think it was funny. And then there would be people that thought it was cute. And then maybe there were people that thought I was being a sissy. But the thing about it was, that's just me. I was just being me. But am I going to continue at my age? And I haven't revealed my age or anything like that. Am I going to continue at my age to let everybody make up my mind and make up decide what I'm going to do with my life. No, I'm not. Now, I'm a Gemini, and when it comes to Gemini energy, it's all about the mind. And you have two different parts. There is the left side of the brain, there's the right side of the brain. And you think about that, and it's just like, that's two different sides. You have to make up your mind. And my idea is, I've got my mind made up, and I am not giving up on my channel. I am not giving up on the subject matter that I talk about, and I am not going to go and change the name of my channel or the fact that I go by. When I stop calling myself Shadow Girl Sherry, it's because I do have another name that I want to go by. But my idea is, I want to get stronger and claim that name. But I'll still have the name Sherry in there, because that's the name my mom gave me the day I was born, and I love my name. My name Sherry means, when I looked it up, and you can look up your own name. I did a video about that, the meaning of your name. Okay. And that it really does, there is a power to your name. There was a reason why you were given your name. And if you look it up, it has a meaning. What does Sherry mean? There's different words that go along that mean Sherry. Sherry means beloved. Okay. And think about when people get married. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. That's loving. Okay. That's one of the words that, that it means Sherry. Sherry means beloved. Sherry means, it goes along with, I think it's Cherry, Chetty, Sherry. And I think that's either French or something, but it's beloved. It's deeply cherished. It can also stand for a fertile plain. So you think about a fertile plain, that's like a grounds where flowers grow. It's fertile. So why am I going to be ashamed of my name, Sherry, the name that my mother gave me the day that I was born? This was my mother's not with me anymore. She's deceased, but I love my mother, and my mother loved me. I still love my mother. And people talk about talking to yourself. Yeah, I still talk to my mom. I talk to her. I say, Mom, Mommy, I love you. I miss you. I thank you for giving me life, being a part of that, along with God and my dad and everything. But, so this is just the things that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm listening out, running to different people, and I'm like, people know me for who they know me for. And being, I am a sweet girl. There is going to be times I'm going to get on and I may talk about things that, I could talk about sex magic, whatever. Well, I'm of age, so why can't I do that? And, but, I thought about it and I'm like, should I stop doing content creation? Should I not talk about? No, I love what I love the subject matter. I love the name of my channel. I love what I've picked to talk about. And I'm not going to change it up for anybody, because a lot of times in my life, I've let people make my mind up for me, and that's not fair to me. So, with that being said, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed, what the topic that I came up with. I was just talking about Barry White and, the idea of fitting in, and the fact that Barry White had a very deep voice. And, at one point it was something that he wasn't proud of, but this is what came this is why Barry White, this is what made him who he was. It was the thing that was different about him that made him so special. It made him the maestro. So, and, I'm a Barry White fan. He's gone, and, gone but not forgotten. And Barry White died on July the 4th. And that's why I wanted to make a video about Barry White for July the 4th. I want to say again, thank you. July the 4th is actually over with. It's 12:27 right now. So I got to be shutting this down. I'm wondering how long this live was. I'll see that when I end the live. And I'm always very, very excited and curious to see how many people have joined me for the live. But I hope that, guys, when I first started going live, I hope that there were the sound of fireworks. You could hear it in the video. I tried to have that out there. But another thing that I wanted to do, I wanted to sing just a little bit. I have a small clip that maybe I'll be able to upload tomorrow of where I sang a little bit of James Brown's "Living in America," because I want my channel to spread and everything. And I think that maybe if I put myself on the line, out on limb and on the line a little bit, and even though I can't sing, I don't, I can't sing. I can sing, like I can talk and everything, but it's not the prettiest thing to hear me sing. But I put myself out on the line a little bit here and there and try to sing like a couple sentences or whatever lines to different songs, and just to get you guys to join and just let loose and have a little bit of fun. But I hope that you guys will, that maybe you heard some of the fireworks when I first started this live or whatever. But guys, I hope you've gotten everything. You enjoyed the live, in the subject matter that I picked. And, when it comes to, different people like Barry White and different people, you know, I like, the subject matter that I've come up with, and, the content, what I decided to what I wanted to wrap into my channel. And it's about music, because when it comes to the law of attraction, I definitely feel that music is really, really magical. Like, if you want to change the way you're feeling, sometimes it doesn't work for me. Like, I'll just be so tired that I just don't have the energy or whatever. But sometimes when I listen to music, it'll make me feel better. It'll uplift me, and then I'll have energy to do things, and so on and so forth. And I think a lot of people feel that energy when it comes to music. But that's the whole idea of my channel. It's the law of attraction, but music definitely can make you feel some type of way. And when I think about like superstars, and I think about people that we watch, you think about on a stage or performing, or people that you kind of feel like they're locked inside of a TV screen, or they're locked inside of your phone and you just can't reach them. Like, they're superstars. Like, it seems like they're untouchable. Like, you can't reach them, and they're superstars. Why? Because we have to look up to them. And you think about Barry White, you think about heaven, you might think about it that way. Yeah, he's untouchable. Like, you can't see him. And, but when he was living, he's crossed over, but he had such a talent that he's gone, but his voice is still around. Michael Jackson, the anniversary of his death was not too long ago. I think it was the 25th of June. Another superstar. It's just somebody we have to look up to. And, he's crossed over, but his talent was so magnificent that even though he's gone, his voice still touches us. So that's a superstar. And but anyhow, guys, this is going to conclude my 4th of July bit of a celebration, or coming to hang out with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. The subject matter basically was about Barry White and the fact that he passed away on July the 4th. And the idea that the thing that I think about when it comes to Barry White is the fact that he had something, it was his voice, that he felt uncomfortable about. It was something that, he didn't, I think he didn't like the sound of his voice because it was so deep at first when he was like a young adolescent. But this thing that made him, where he felt like he didn't fit in, it came out to be a good thing, because of the fact that he didn't fit in, it made him stand out from other people, the depth of his voice, the deepness, and it made him a star. So, lights, camera, action, 4th of July. And, I don't want to take away from our service members. And I want to thank all of our service members, the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, all our service members. Thank you, for our freedom and everything. And obviously, all that. And thank you all. Thank you guys. Thank you, our service members. And I just want to say, I hope that everybody had a very, very happy, I was going to say Thanksgiving, but a very, very happy Independence Day. I hope you enjoyed had some happy hot dogs and happy hamburgers and all that, and that you were in great company. And I just want to thank you guys, express to you guys how thankful I am to have you all. Because there's been so many times in my life where I felt like I didn't fit in. But ever since I've come up with my channel and I see all the different people that join my lives and everything, no matter how long you stay, even if it's just a minute, you guys, you guys bring so much joy to my life. And I want to thank you guys so much for it. And this is going to be Shadow Girl Sherry, shutting this live down. Thank you guys so much. And I haven't gone live in a couple of days or a little bit, so I got to figure out how to do it again. I think it's something like this. Okay. This is going to be Shadow Girl Sherry. This is going to be the conclusion. And guys, right now my phone now is at 11%. That is a master number. It's like walking through a door. If you look at it, it looks like a door or a portal. And I'm going to be going to bed here pretty soon. So, brush my teeth, wash up and all that. And I'm going to go and dream, and, I'm calling in sweet dreams and all that wonderful stuff. And I'm hoping the same for you all, and just think positive thoughts. And, I just want to thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And whenever you join me, forever, for as long, no matter how long you join my lives, whether it's a minute, 20 minutes, a half an hour, or 2 hours, whatever, even if it's 30 seconds, I want to thank you so much. And you guys, yeah, happy 4th of July is over with, but happy, and joy, and happiness. Okay, guys? So this is going to be Shadow Girl Sherry. Thank you guys so much, and wishing you a good night, and take care. Oh boy, guys. I didn't mean to like my own live. What it is, I just didn't. I'm trying to close down, and I don't remember how to do it. I just like my own live. I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that. I want to be honest and get the real likes. Okay. Well, it does say more likes can attract viewers. Keep it up. Okay, whatever. Okay, so maybe I will like my lives just to push it out into the algorithm more. But this is going to be Shadow Girl Sherry. I'm trying to figure out how to sign out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care. Okay, it says in live, you can also try going live with another creator. Okay, maybe some other time, but not tonight. I'm ending now. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. This is Shadow Girl Sherry. Good night, and take care.